Hello and welcome our viewers to another exciting episode of your show around Kuwait. And today we have a special treat. For all the martial art enthusiasts out there, we are joined by two remarkable individuals who have not only conquered the martial arts scene in Kuwait, but also have made their mark internationally.
Join me in welcoming Abdullah Salim and Nasser Abdul Karim, martial arts coaches, as they share their inspiring journey in trumps and culture richness they bring to the world of the martial arts. Welcome to the Around of Kuwait program.
Thank you for having us. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys.
We're actually so glad, especially to have really remarkable coaches with this, let's say, this great field that a lot of people right now getting joined to it. But we would love to know, to share your story with us. What inspired you exactly, and how did you start on the field of martial arts?
Yeah, so we both started our journey in the United States, but during that time, I don't know who Abdullah was. So we started actually in the same affiliation. Me, to be exact, at the state of California. He started at the state of Oregon. So yeah, we started our journey there. We were like conquering the tournaments over there, like winning. He started like doing MMA and jiu-jitsu. I started doing jiu-jitsu. But by the time I got back to Kuwait, I knew who he was, and we started training and become good friends, and from there we opened the school.
Really great.
Yeah, and especially Abdul Latif, when you're having that kind of chemistry, I think they would have more achievements.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
We'll help each other.
Yeah, of course. Abdullah,
From the same school in the U.S. So coincidence. There was a coincidence that he was in Gracie Baja and I was in the same school. So this is the school that we opened here.
Year ago.
Years ago.
At school.
Now, in Kuwait, yeah, it's 1 year
No,
ago.
the jiu-jitsu school, not the university.
Yeah.
He was in the jiu-jitsu school called Gracie Baja in California, and I was in the same school in another state in Oregon.
Oh, that's
Gracie Baja is a big school in the world. It's the biggest jiu-jitsu school in the world. It's like more than 1,000.
branches.
Yeah, branches. Yeah. So yeah, we both were in the same like affiliation, but we opened one in Kuwait. You know,
We opened Gracie
Yeah,
Baja
Gracie Baja.
Al-Ahmadi, Sali.
oh, that's
really
interesting.
great, yeah.
Abdullah Nasser, when we're talking about achievements, I'm sure you have a lot of achievements during your career as coaches, especially when we're talking about jiu-jitsu. So if you could tell us about your achievements, whether locally or internationally.
As coaches?
Yes.
As coaches.
As coaches, we have we just started coaching like a year and a half or almost a year now. So we did 3 tournaments with the kids we have. One of the biggest ones was the World's Jiu-Jitsu tournament in Abu Dhabi, and we only had 2 students that competed, and we got 2 golds. So we got 2 students who are now who
MashaAllah.
have the gold in the world. So that's a big achievement for us. Just when we're just starting, we have other students who got some gold in other small tournaments here and one small tournament in the UAE, but that was the biggest one.
Yeah, of course. As starting a milestone, that's got to be to start it at a point, and after that you will start to get bigger and bigger. And of course, you guys also have the same, let's say, the same achievements as coaches, right?
Yeah.
Because you are, let's say, together you established the school.
Yeah. And also in mixed martial arts, we have some achievements. The kids had 2 mixed martial arts events that they fought, and a lot of my kids had, or our kids.
it was actually last weekend. So
Oh, mashallah.
yeah, we had 10 fights
Congratulations.
and 10 victories from our students. So
Congratulations. That's
Also,
really
there was
amazing.
another one in the Kuwait Olympic Committee that they also did good at. So yeah, we're seeing some good results with the kids.
And especially when we're talking about kids and children, I think it's really hard training or the preparation when we're talking about kids. How do you prepare while they're having a championship and so on, especially at that kind of age?
so yeah, kids learn really quick, you know, and they get better really quick. But for me, it's tougher to teach the kids. I like teaching the adults because sometimes the kids cry and sometimes they fight, and they don't listen to me. But it's fun. I enjoy the journey, you know. So yeah, and I keep getting my kids ready. Like me and Abdullah are competitors, so I want my students to follow the same footsteps as us, you know. I want to keep them compete, keep them be active, keep them active. You know what I'm saying?
This actually will keep igniting the fire.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons that I have my special hobby that keep me, let's say, trying as possible as I can to keep achieving some milestones, because I have competitor. I have someone, I am pushing him forward and he's also pushing me forward by him. So that's got to be really great.
Yes, yeah, like our gym is like most of our kids are competitors. We have a few kids that are there to just have the experience and learn something new, but most of our kids are competitors, and we always try to have them compete and fight and do tournaments. But with the kids, the biggest thing is the consistent kids and adults. The biggest thing is consistency and having them come to class every day. They have to come to class every day.
Is it the most important thing?
Yes, showing up is the most important thing. Number one, you show up, and then the rest happens. But with the kids, it's not the kids who you have to tell them to show up. It's the adults.
Oh,
So
okay.
with the adults, it's you. When you show up late, I say, Abdul Latif, why are you late? But when the kid is late, I say, why are you late? He say, my dad.
Oh, yeah.
The first
Yeah.
argument. The first argument. Oh, my dad, my mom,
Yeah.
the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. As of course they do that. So there is a little bit personal question for you guys. How do you balance between, let's say, training for you personally and also coaching your trainees? Because sometimes you need to balance the time, and sometimes you don't have that time. So how do you do that?
Yeah, so for me it's a bit difficult, but if you can manage the time correctly, you can do a perfect job. Like the kids class, all you have to do is just focus on coaching. But for the adult class, I train with them. I teach them and I train with them at the same time. I try to work on the moves that I have to work on. I study like actually by watching them training. So yeah, I feel like it's in the beginning was a bit tough for me. But right now I feel like it's
Two
like
birds in
normal.
one stone.
Yeah.
Training with the adult.
Yeah, so
But in general, it's hard to do both. So what we do sometimes is that, like a few months ago, he had a big tournament in the U.S. So he went, and I took care of classes while he was gone. And I will be leaving. I have a big tournament coming up in a few months, so I'll be leaving in a few weeks, and he'll have to take care of classes while I'm gone.
Do you guys support each other, where there's like one of you going for a competition, or let's say?
yeah, but
Yeah, of
we
course.
cannot compete at the same time. So
Yeah.
if someone competes, someone has to stay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, on the facility to, let's
Yeah.
say, keeping the business growing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
True,
that's
yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
And especially when we're talking about this kind of relationship, as you have mentioned at the beginning, how you came friends and you had that kind of chemistry. I'm sure each one of you have different types of or strengths while coaching or dynamics during your career. So if you could tell us, Abdullah, first, what do you think about Nasser and vice versa?
Nasser as a coach? Or
Yes.
Nasser is he's more easygoing, and
He's
he likes-
flexible.
he's flexible. He's not too hard on, especially the kids or the adults. Like he'll say something, but he won't give like a punishment, or he won't do anything like that. Then
Yeah,
yeah.
of course. And you become the hard a lot of
Yeah,
sometimes.
he tells you about me.
Yeah. Okay. So also tell us about Abdullah.
It's good to have a very nice coach and tough coach at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good to have two tough coaches or two very nice coaches.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
good cop. bad
yeah, yeah. But yeah, he's doing an amazing job. I feel like when he gets tough for them, they get more tough. So yeah, but at the end of the day, we're keeping the positive energy. That's what we need.
There has to be
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah, true.
But this is actually the most important. This is the most important thing. It's to keep the balance, because if you both are becoming, let's say, really rough with the trainees, I mean, they would run away, go to other coaches. So having this remarkable and perfect balance is actually what's keeping, let's say, the ground solid and comfortable for them. So can you guys also, starting with Abdullah, can you share with us a memorable moment during your journey, either at one of your achievements with while you're training or while you are training other trainees, like something memorable during your journey?
Like I'd say the most memorable thing that happened was when I had my not my last fight, the fight before the last fight in Brazil. And it was a very unique experience, because I went to a place that I've never been, and I did something which not a lot of people do in Brazil, and it was a tough journey, and it was a tough it was just a tough obstacle that I had to go through to open up my mixed martial arts career, and that's very memorable at the time. So and one of the hardest.
It was one of the competitions in Brazil, like I think 6 or 7 months ago, right? Yeah, that was really great. I mean, you were all over the news, and it was one of the most remarkable achievements that you would have. Actually, you actually contributed in rising our country's name. So thank you.
Thank you.
So what about you, Nasser Abdelkarim?
Yeah, I've been competing for over 10 years. I competed in Paris and Rome and the States. But for me, my biggest achievement is not the competition, it's not the gold medal. My biggest achievement is receiving the black belt, because I received the black belt from one of the biggest names in the sport of jiu-jitsu. His name is Hamel Bahal. He's like the Cristiano Ronaldo of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So for me, this is the biggest accomplishment, you know. So I'm honored to be a black belt under him.
Nice describing into Cristiano Ronaldo of jiu-jitsu,
he's like
because a lot of people wouldn't understand.
The GOAT, he's the greatest of all time in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
That's interesting, Abdullah.
It is.
And especially when we're talking about your experience and achievements and accomplishments throughout your career. Let's talk more about the experience you had throughout these years. I'm sure you had a different experience. So let's talk more about your experience, starting with Nasser.
Yeah, so I lived in California, you know. California is the capital of Jiu-Jitsu in the world. So there's tournament every weekend, you know. So I was active all the time. I never been inactive, you know. So was one of the best things I've done, like during my journey in Jiu-Jitsu, you know. At the same time, I was a student. It was a bit tough, but if you can manage time, everything would be like going good. So yeah, like even the World Championship every year, it hosts California hosts the tournament, you know. So it was like just 30 minutes away from where I stayed. So yeah, that was like the best thing.
Really lucky.
Yeah.
Really lucky with having the tournament, world tournaments near to you, so we can have this experience. So what about you, Abdullah?
Same. When I was in the States, I was doing tournaments all the time. Whenever there's something, when I have a chance to compete, I'll compete. And me, and I'm sure Nasser also, we tried not to miss any training classes. We had to be there every day because that's how you grow. You can't miss classes, especially with Jiu-Jitsu. If you skip a month or skip a week and you come back to training, you feel like you're way down in your level. You feel like everyone else has passed your level and you have to catch up now. So you have to always be consistent in coming to training.
Exactly.
Abdul Latif, out of the box, we need to ask them a question, especially when they're having this kind of relation.
Yeah.
Do you compete each other, or one day did you compete each other or no?
In front of the students.
We are not in the same weight classes, but we do train together in the gym, of course. Yeah.
But do you fight each other sometimes, like in front of students?
Yeah. We do it all the time in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. That's really great.
Yeah.
So also, there is one of the questions that it came up actually to my mind. There is some competitions and some fights that, let's say, changed your mind and changed your thinking, and let's say change the way that you are training your trainees, because it's got to be different, because sometimes you usually have, let's say, the methods that's suitable for you, but after one fight, or let's say after a whole championship, it's a little bit changed. Do you have this special championship for you or tournaments that change your method? Let's say let's start with Nasser.
You know, it depends on in the division you are. Sometimes I cut weight, like the weight I'm at, people play at a certain style, so I have to like get ready to fight at that certain style, you know? So as I said, like style make fights. So like it depends on the competitor. Like if he has a certain style, I'm gonna get ready as that style. But at the end of the day, you have to know every style to get ready for this kind of amount competition. Yeah.
And when you first start Jiu-Jitsu and you do a lot of competitions, at the end of every competition, your game changes because you learn something new. Every competition will teach you something new. So as long as you compete, the more you grow, the more you evolve, you know, in your game.
So it's an endless journey, you know. So
Like an ocean, it's really great.
And like you said, different weight classes, different areas of the world, different schools. Everything you do is gonna be it's different. It's a different challenge. It's a different puzzle. You have to solve this puzzle, and the more you learn to solve these puzzles, the more you grow. Or sometimes you fail to solve the puzzle, and then after the event is done, you see the video, you see what you did wrong, and then you will learn what you did wrong. So winning and losing, at the end, you're gonna learn something new.
Oh,
That's really great. Thank you for this great answer. I'm not gonna lie, both of you guys.
Talking more about teaching and being as coaches, as you have mentioned, children, let's talk more about the age of teaching the children or the kids. What is the suitable age in playing martial arts or any kind of
For Jiu-Jitsu, our kids' classes start from 4 years old to 13, right? Yeah. So I think this for kids' classes. Sometimes people who are 13, they're like big or like a bit like better than the rest of the kids. We make them join the adult class. So yeah, I think Jiu-Jitsu is for everybody, no matter what weight or what age, as long as you're like above 3. So I think like there's nothing like you can do the sport in Jiu-Jitsu like it's for everybody. Because the sport is about the technique. It's about like having good flexibility, you know. So that's the most important thing about the sport. Yeah.
This actually got to be great. So what about you, Abdullah?
Yeah, like the youngest kid we have is like about 4 years old, and we have students up to like in their 40s or maybe close to 50s. We have a range of students, and you deal with everyone in a certain way. Yeah, not everyone is there to compete. You know, jiu-jitsu is, again, it's something you can learn. You know, this is why we have a school. This is why it's a school. This is why when you get the black belt, you're called a professor. You're teaching. It's something you want to teach people. So some people just want to learn it for themselves.
Yeah.
Just for their knowledge, and some people want to learn it and compete. So when I have a 50-year-old that just there to learn, or a 4-year-old that's just their parents have them there to learn, I don't coach him or treat him as the same as the competitor.
Yeah.
The competitor has a different route, and this guy has a different
compete,
route.
let's say internationally or nationally.
The person who has to compete, you go hard on them. You have to make them train harder. You have to make them fight harder. You give them different techniques. These kids and the adults, like everyone has their special
just
program.
basics and trying to adapt on the levels, let's say.
Yeah, and between me and Nasser, we give everyone their program. Like we'll say that, like he'll talk to me or I'll talk to him and I tell him, hey, this guy is like, he has an injury, so don't let him do these movements. Just focus on these movements and let him do his thing. And this guy, do this with him. And this guy has a fight
You
coming up.
discuss about these.
Yes, of course. Everyone we talk about them. We talk about their strength, their weaknesses. When the class is done, Nasser will say, this guy has a problem in this area. Let's fix it. I'll say, I saw this guy doing this. Everyone has their own special program. We see everyone and we treat every individual differently. Like we cannot treat some people will see us complimenting. Even in terms of psychology, it's different. Some people will be complimenting, while other people will be punishing or giving him hard talks. This guy comes every day. This guy is skipping class. This guy is doing the right thing. This guy is everyone. It's a game, and you have to.
And you're observing, let's say, the game, and knowing each individual that you have on your facility, know exactly what their capabilities, what their backgrounds, why they are here. That's got to be really important, yet really insightful. Of course, for you, our dear guests, we have more questions, but we have the show to break, and we'll be right back after. So for your dear viewers, stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
And we're back, dear viewers, with our guest talking more about jiu-jitsu. Let's talk more about the strengths and weaknesses. I'm sure in each kind of sport there is some strengths and weaknesses, especially when we're talking as you being coaches and training, let's say, your students and so on. So tell us more about the weaknesses and strengths. How do you lead it while you're training the students themselves?
Every student has their strengths and weaknesses. We see that from the game. Yeah, some people are strong, some people are flexible. Some people have a better cardio, they have more energy. Some people have less cardio but more strength. So the guy with better cardio, his weakness would be less strength. So his game, his plan is different than the other guy who has strength but not the conditioning.
Yeah.
The guy with strength and not conditioning, his game will be slower but more controlling.
Yeah.
The guy with the higher pace and the better cardio but less strength will have to use his flexibility and have to use more movement and has to push more because he can push more. He has the energy to push more. And also other things like age group, belts, all of these categories come into play when you ask me about strength and weaknesses. Like a strength, when I come to consider strengths and weaknesses for a white belt who's just beginning, it's not going to be the same conversation when I come and talk to a black belt who is at the highest level.
Yeah.
So the black belt will be more detailed, small things that you're gonna talk to him about when it comes to strength and weakness. But the white belt, it's more general things.
Do you focus more on flexibility in this kind of sports?
Everything, flexibility, technique, strength, everything is important in the jiu-jitsu, you know.
How do you, Nasser? How do you tailor? Let's say, how do you tailor and design the training itself for every trainee that you have or individuals on your
Like
school?
Yeah, from my school, I follow the same program as my Gracie Baha, the affiliation I work with. So they give us a quick, give us like a scheduled program for the whole year. So what I do, I like to study before teaching, you know. But for kids and adults, it's different, you know. And sometimes I see what my students are struggling with. I try to correct them and teach them something they have to been like struggling with. Same thing with the adults and the kids, you know. Yeah.
And it comes with the same way. But you mentioned something that there is small details in the black belt. What is exactly the small details? Because for me personally, I think that it's general, either strength or let's say some stamina, or I mean, how do you see the small things while you're
You have to be a black belt for me to tell you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. On your hand, I'm gonna be a black belt. inshallah.
Hayak.
Yeah.
Come to our gym and we will take care of you. When it comes to black belt, when I say small details, it's in the movement itself. He's doing a move and there's something that if he changes, he'll get a better position or he'll get a better result. So, and it's specific to the game. But when you're just starting, it's the general thing. It's gonna be even his training. When we train white belts, it's different than we train black belts, because the white belt, he doesn't know anything. So I have to give him a general outlook on all the sport. But when I come to the black belt is probably weak in a few areas that they know what they're weak at. And the black belt, I don't need to tell him most of the time where he's weak at. He knows where he's weak at, and he tries to work these things. So he asks you, and then you try to fill in the gaps that he knows he has.
And then you help them, let's say, with the methods to reach it, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be amazing.
Yeah, interesting. Talking more about as you being coaches, I think as handling students with different ages, it's really important. Let's say one day, most of the students, he might be happy today. The next day, he's not in the mood to train. The other day, he's in a bad mood, and so on. How do you handle? I know it's hard, and teaching these kind of students, especially when we're talking about their mental health or the way how they're feeling, let them feel, have the enthusiasm while they're training and being happy and interested in training.
Let's say encouraging them.
Yes,
to give them the
It happens a lot, especially when they compete and then things don't go their way, you know. Even in training, sometimes people they don't win in training. So, but I keep telling them it's just training. It's not a competition, you know. I want everybody to have the correct mindset, the right mindset, because mindset is key in jiu-jitsu, you know. Yeah, so I keep encouraging them and keep telling them there's no losing in jiu-jitsu. You either win or you learn. There's no losing, no matter what, no matter how many times you lose. So I always keep them make them have the correct mindset and have the positive thing for themselves, you know. So that's what I try to do.
Remarkable.
Yeah. So
What about you, Abdullah?
We also sometimes change up the training if we see the class is slow or they're not in the mood, or like she said, they're not enthusiastic.
What do you do? Change it.
Instead of the warm-up being running, jumping jacks, push-ups, we'll play soccer.
Oh, nice.
We'll do
Yeah.
something different. They're moving, they're warming up, so it doesn't have to be boring exercise. You can do anything. That's an example. But also, again, coming back to the kids, it's the parents. Yeah, a lot of times the kids will say things or act in ways not because they don't want the class, because they want something else. Like, for example, we had a kid, every time he comes to class, he's happy, he's playing, everything is good. But his dad complains that he doesn't like to come to class. Yeah, of course, when I was a kid, I don't like to go out of my house. I want to play PlayStation and things like that. But when I'm in the class, I'm happy. That means the class is good.
Yeah.
It's just there's something else outside of the environment of the jiu-jitsu scene and the class that is pulling him away from the training.
And no kid job.
Yeah, and no kids want to go to train. It's training in the end. It's work, kind of like work. It's fun work, but it's still work for a kid who has options of staying home, playing PlayStation, watching TV, or going out with his friends, or going to the gym. Of course, he's gonna choose that over this. So it's the parents' job also, not just our job. Parents have to help.
Actually, even for school, it's the parents' job because unfortunately they do a lot of time not motivate them for school. Either it's going to be jiu-jitsu school, martial arts, or let's say the educational school. So it is really important to let's say keep encouraging them to learn and to study, to learn either if it's going to be the martial arts or educationally. it's really important for that. And you actually answered one of the questions that it came up to my mind is how do you adapt to the environment? Let's say at one of the days, you want to change a little bit to the environment of your training, so change the mood a little bit. You mentioned soccer. Do you guys do that more often?
Yeah, actually, I just did it. Like, I feel like the warm up, it's been the same like for weeks, for months actually.
Yeah.
So I started add some different stuff. Like let's say I added some more strength stuff to the warm up. I started add some stretches, a bit of yoga to the warm up. So just to change the mood of the students like during the class.
That's really good. So what about you, Abdullah? Do you have some special methods, anything but soccer, let's say, to change the mood, to try, okay, today we have something different. Today we,
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you are the rough coach.
Yeah,
And I know that you're
no, I'm the rough coach in the time of the tournament, and when people aren't doing what they're supposed to do, but when they're doing what they're supposed to do, it's fun.
Okay.
I'll give the kids, especially with the kids. No, I'm not too rough with the kids. I mean, if the kid is being,
I thought you were off with all the
no,
ages.
just the adults.
All the time.
No, just the adults, because the adults should know better. Oh no, the kids, it's more of a playing environment. If I see that they're bored, I'll do a competition. I'll say the winner will get something, and I'll give something out if they win. So that makes them want to, train harder to get the whatever thing I want to give them.
Thank you for correcting the impression that I had, because when you came, I said, okay, this guy is really, let's say, rough guy, clearly.
No, we're like, let's say you're late to class.
Yeah.
With me, I might make you do push-ups. With Nasser, I say, I'll come in, so it's okay. Like next time, don't be late. Like that's the difference. That's
By the way, his brother always comes late to class, and he always.
and I.
Gives them some punishments.
Run from him, go
Yeah.
to you directly. yeah, it's Nasser. I don't want to see Coach Abdullah.
Abdulatif, to be honest, let's be more serious and talk. If you had the rough teacher, coach, and so on, you would learn. If you had that kind of flexible, you might be a little bit lazy. Or maybe,
It's important to
Yeah.
have the flexible coach,
true.
and it's important to have the rough coach.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, okay, I don't want to have the flexible teacher. It doesn't suit me. And a lot of people say, no, I don't like the
Yeah, what she said.
having this
It's
combination.
not very accurate, because some people would rather learn from him than me. Some people like my style, and that's why I say it's a balance. Like, so there are a few
We
people that
complete each
will-
other, let's say.
Yeah.
When I put too much pressure on it, they can't take it. So
Yeah.
they want something a different way.
Yeah.
Some people like if I say 10 push-ups now, they'll say, and I don't like the way you said that.
Yeah, I get
They
it.
like me to say 10 push-ups, please.
10 push-up,
Yeah.
please, thank you.
Yeah.
10 push-ups.
We're talking more about the kids, You
Yeah.
have to be a little bit sometimes rough and flexible at
No,
the
they
same
need
time.
they need to learn the military school. 10 push-ups now, 10 push-ups now. Like either of you guys. you have
Sometimes
to do-
their dads they want us to do to be like this, you know. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, and then when we're talking, you have to say, like, you have to separate the kids and adults. So when I just gave that example, it's for the adults, not the kids. The kids, they don't care. The adults, sometimes if you talk to them in a way that is like a military way, they will,
disappear.
yeah, they don't like it. They'll say that you're the way
Being
you
kind
talk
of
to
bossy.
me. Yeah, they don't like
Yeah.
Honestly, disrespecting to me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but my gym is our gym is a competitive gym.
Yeah.
We need you to be on your A game. It's not
And best behavior.
like
So
we care about you being a competitor more than we care about you paying your monthly fee.
yeah.
Like if I just want to come in and do whatever and just learn a little bit.
Really, you don't care about the monthly. You most care about
Nobody
like
does anything.
achievements.
Yeah, number one, my priority is to get students, high level students. Both of us, we have the same goal.
and
High level
both of you
students.
clearly.
Yeah.
Yes, money comes later, and we're not doing this for the money. If it was for the money, this game doesn't have. It's not.
It doesn't start
not
like
a big
like
money
business.
maker.
It's yeah, because both of you, it started like a passion from the heart. I mean, you were the athletes. You were the fighters who fight internationally and here in Kuwait, and you won really high awarding achievements. So this is actually one of the reasons that you care about the achievements, about the behavior. But when you mentioned like if I were you and one of my students say no, the way you said it, it's a little bit disrespectful. Okay, not 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups. I would do that definitely. So how do you transfer the teamwork? Let's say the heart of connection between the athletes on your school. How do you do that to try to increase the connection between them?
So yeah, actually, at the end of the day, it depends on the person, So yeah, but they get inspired by us So that's the thing they make us like connected to us. So they see us win. They see they want to win. They sort of like they see some people just saw us on Instagram and they decide to train because they want to like be in the big stage, be in the big arenas, just compete at the big tournaments. So that's how the connection starts here.
And you have to understand, like when we're being tough, it's tough love. It's not we like they know we're their friends. Like as soon as training is done, we play, we just talk, we like that. But in the training, it has to be serious. So then it's not like we're
Really good.
fighting our students. No.
Of course, we're going to continue our interview with our guests, but after this break.
Welcome back, our viewers, as we continue our interview with our two beloved guests, Nasser Abdel Karim and Abdullah Salim. So, welcome back, our guests. So, our next question for this interview is the challenges, the rewarding challenges that you have during your journey. We need to learn more about it. So, starting with you, Abdullah, about the challenges that you have either while you're an athlete, or let's focus more while you're a coach, and with your students and trainees. Sometimes you face a little bit of rewarding challenges that after this challenge exactly you would see that there is some accomplishment. Tell us more about that.
So the biggest challenges we face, and I feel we both face these challenges, and they're our biggest challenges, yani.
Yes.
We're educating people on what jiu-jitsu is. So, in Kuwait, it's a new thing. And till maybe 2-3 years ago, we started a tournament called Emperor of the Mats here in Kuwait. And
Emperor of what?
Of the Mats.
Emperor.
Imperator.
Oh, Emperor
of the Mats.
Yeah.
Really great.
And after this tournament, jiu-jitsu has gi and no gi. Before, like maybe 2 or 3 tournaments a year, you'll find a jiu-jitsu tournament. After we did Emperor of the Mats, the competitions, everybody started doing competitions. Everybody understood. We did it in a format, and we had to educate, and we did it with sponsors, and we did it in a very professional way, and it became the standard now. So that was a big challenge to do the first Emperor of the Mats, because we had to educate, we had to bring the sponsors in, we had to teach people these rules, the new rules of the no-gi jiu-jitsu. So we had a lot of challenges there. The other big challenge was bringing the school of Gracie Baha to Kuwait, and like starting the school and bringing the equipment and finding a place, because it's really challenging to find a place to run the gym. Like,
Yes.
okay, you'll have the gym, you'll have the equipment.
All of it occupied, yeah.
Yeah,
all of
but-
it been running down.
Yeah,
business,
or the like you have to find a license, tarkhis, and
Yeah.
correct one, and
Authorization,
very
license.
difficult.
Yeah.
It's got to
Especially
be
for
really-
the affiliation, Gracie Bot. For me, I had to get an interview with the head, the head guy of the Gracie Bot. Is the son of the one who invented jiu-jitsu. He had to do an interview with me, and they have to find the right spot. And he always tell me the uniforms, that like the way to teach this kind of stuff. I had to do a test, a lot of stuff,
because when you wanted to open the school here, I mean, it wasn't, let's say, that easy for you, like finding the place, the equipment.
Yeah.
What about the interview, you say? Because is the idea of the place coming from another place?
They want the right person to teach. They don't want just random guy, because they want
Because you're holding their name, let's say.
yeah. Like this school is like the Real Madrid of like jiu-jitsu, you know? Yeah, it's the biggest.
Another nice explanation. Really.
If you just Google Gracie Baha, you're gonna see like thousands of school, you know?
Yeah.
So there's like in Pakistan, there's in Iran, there's in everywhere you can.
It's like Starbucks. It's like a coffee.
It's like Starbucks.
You know, it's like
You can see if you go to the States.
International brands.
Yeah, if you go to, like, especially California, you can see in every corner there's a Gracie Bar, you know. So to open the school, you have to be a black belt, and there's a lot. You have to go through a course, coaching course. It's a lot of steps. So it's a big accomplishment for me to open this school, like for both of us. Yeah. So.
Wow, that's interesting. Since we have talked about your challenges and experiences and the career you have been through this sport, let's talk more about nowadays. A lot of people, maybe they're lost. They don't know which kind of sport they want to lead to. What is their hobby? Where they find themselves? How do you aspire, let's say, these kind of people, or you would advise them to join your school or any kind of sports, Nasser?
So yeah, people when they hear the word martial arts, they like kung fu comes to mind. This for me, they're not really realistic, you know. So when they see like us competing and win this, like the big tournaments and the ones they are realistic, they just like from there they just to get them attention. Like back in the day, they used to bring every martial art like compete together, and you just used to win. This small guy, you know, and they see me sometimes. I'm not that big, and it's like, oh, how you are a bit skinny, and like how would you do jiu-jitsu? So, and they see me when sometimes I compete with the big guys and I win, you know. So yeah, because jiu-jitsu at the end of the day, jiu-jitsu is all about technique. Technique is quick results.
It's not about how big you are.
Yeah. So yeah, I inspire people. Like sometimes there's people like they are short, or we say they're like a bit skinny. They join jiu-jitsu, you know, because it's all about, you know, it's just for everybody.
And there's an opportunity for everyone to compete in jiu-jitsu, whatever age you are, whatever physicalities you have, short, fat, skinny, big, small, old, young. You can pursue a career in jiu-jitsu.
Because if you compete at a certain weight.
Yeah.
Right. There is also sometimes you compete the absolute, like it's open weight, but yeah, you compete with a guy who's like same like size as you know. So
yeah. So I have a really different question out of the script. I'm not gonna lie. What if you find out that one of your students that you are training to be, let's say, a champion at their age and at their league, and you found out that they are bullies at their school? You gotta tell me, what do you do?
And when you're in this environment, it's hard to become a bully. And the thing about jiu-jitsu is if you're a bully, you'll be humbled, because in class, you can't be a bully. So jiu-jitsu actually teaches you how not to be a bully. It's hard for a good athlete in jiu-jitsu to be a bully outside of the class, you know, unless like, will they defend themselves if they were in a situation where they had to? Yes.
Yeah.
But are they people who go and try to cause trouble because they know jiu-jitsu and they're going to use it? It's very rare to find something like that, because the environment of jiu-jitsu and the schooling and what you learn in class, and there's no space for you to be not humble or to have an ego. Like we always say in jiu-jitsu, your ego has to be outside the door. And when you come to class, even if you're winning all the time, some days you're gonna lose, some days you're gonna win. Nobody comes.
Amazing, really amazing.
It keeps you out of trouble, like jiu-jitsu, you know. You have to know when you join the jiu-jitsu match, you're never gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn every day, you know. So yeah, as he said, jiu-jitsu humbles people, especially kids, you know. Keeps them away from trouble. So that's
so they're not gonna be bullies, but of course they're gonna know how to stand out against bullies. Yeah, of course. So I think that's a good lesson for our viewers. It's really important to let your kids not only focusing at education, but also focusing at having a hobby. So what's a better hobby to a physical mindset, a good behavior hobby that will actually direct them in the right way? So that's got to be amazing. I mean, of course, I have a 3 months a son, so after 3 years to 4 years, inshallah, he definitely going to be at your school. I'm not gonna lie. While you were talking at the first of interview, I actually had this mindset. I'm going to do that definitely.
Yeah,
it's a little bit too late for me.
you can.
we have a lot
It's a son and dad.
Son, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe after 3 years then.
We have a lot of father and son like share together, you know. So
A lot of the kids have their dads come to the class also.
Then I'm gonna wait for it.
Comparing each other a little bit.
Because that actually, like when the family does it, it helps,
Yeah.
you know, like the kid.
Of course.
Also, another part when I say the parents, when the parents is showing up to class every day and the kid comes with the parent and they say
Let them try it.
their
Yeah.
dad is doing what they're doing, that inspires them too. Like that'll keep them going, you know.
Yeah,
It's
true.
amazing.
Exactly. As long we're talking about this kind of sport, I'm sure you have different techniques and different developments by the time. So how do you have the latest updates and different techniques by time and by ages and by months or years?
You're never gonna learn enough, you know.
Yeah.
But of course, in the beginning, when I was like, there's like 5 belts.
Yeah.
There's white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt. Each belt, like each belt I get, I learn more stuff, you know. I'm still learning. Like I feel like I learned the most when I got my black belt. Imagine like 8 years later, I feel like I learned the most. So by the end of the day, I can keep learning. It's an endless ocean, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. What about you, Abdullah?
And when you come to class, it's structured the same. I think I get your question. Like the class is structured the same. You do the warm up, and then we show some movements, some techniques, and then at the end of the class, we usually fight. Everyone just does rolling, and they fight together, and they test out what they just learned. Like I'll give you a tool, and then you'll try to use that tool in real life in the battle. Like I'll teach you how to use a hammer, and then I'll give you a nail, and then you have to use the hammer. So when it comes to every age and every person and every group, I'm not teaching one person different things, every person different things. I'm teaching what I just taught, but this person will catch this and this person won't like this.
Yeah.
But tomorrow's class, this person will not catch whatever I taught, but this one. So everyone will have different tools. So one person at the end of the month will have learned 2 or 3 new things.
Yeah.
One person will learn 4 new things. One person will learn 5 new things. And then depending on their body type and depending on their age and depending on their attributes, like physical and mental attributes, they'll use these tools differently.
Do you both have the same techniques?
No,
Like
very different.
especially in this
Got to be
athlete?
different,
Very
actually.
different technique. We're actually opposite. Yeah.
You're opposite
Yeah.
each other.
Which is why another thing why our school works is because you have the spectrum. You have the movements from me all the way up to Nasser. So he's really, what he specializes in is not what I specialize. What I specialize in is not, like we're the opposite.
Perfect. No, and
Yeah.
so it's not only the personality.
Yeah.
It's actually the whole methods, the whole way. It's different between you guys, but yet, I mean, let's say you're completing each other. Let's say the training sites, the way that you are coaching training. That's got to be really amazing. So, what happened after a competition or championship? You see one of your students, and starting with Nasser, you see one of your students, let's say, lost the fight, and you see him, let's say, at the young age. That's got to be a little bit so hard time on them. What do you say to them exactly?
Like the thing I don't like when someone loses and he just quits jiu-jitsu. That's the thing I don't like. As I said before, there's no losing in jiu-jitsu. I always tell them this quote: you either win or you'll learn. There's no losing. I try to encourage him, and just don't let him give up. Like just give him like more encouragement to keep it going. You know?
Yeah.
So
You try to keep the fire.
yeah,
Sometimes it's
because a lot of people
paid
lose
out.
the energy. You know, like me during my competitions, sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. So that's the game. You know, nobody is perfect. Nobody keeps winning. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to lose to learn more. You know? So that's what I tell them. I want to tell them like, you're gonna keep learning. You didn't lose. You know?
On the nice way. So what about the rough way, Abdullah?
For me, it depends on the performance.
The age,
performance.
maybe? Oh, the
No.
performance.
If the person gave up on themselves, win or lose, I don't care. I care that you come and you do your best. Sometimes mentally people give up before the fight, and sometimes I see that my student is better than the opponent, and I see that he can win, but he gave up on himself mentally before, and in his head, this guy's bigger, this guy, I'm not ready. You know, you fight. There's a fight before the fight, that we call it.
Yeah.
The fight with yourself. Your mind is telling you sometimes that you're not good enough or you didn't do
Exactly.
that, like, you know. And then if my student beats himself and not the opponent is beating him, so when I see him, like, if I knew that he could do better, but he didn't do it as good as he could because of a mental thing, I'll give him a different talk than a person who lost because the other guy was better.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
But if you win, then you win.
That's nice.
That's good.
You always one loses and one wins. But overall, as we have talked and about this amazing kind of sport, where do you see it nowadays overall in Kuwait? Is it growing, and where do you see it in the future?
Like after us hosting the tournament in Kuwait, it grew a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Because when we hosted the tournament, we brought the big names come to compete to Kuwait. It was the chance for the athletes in Kuwait to go with the big names, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's gonna get really big. Like, after us opening the school and doing the tournament, so I see a bright future for the game.
Jiu-jitsu definitely grew a lot. MMA is coming too. We just did a small tournament. We're doing more tournaments all around us. The countries around us are investing a lot of time, a lot of money in these sports.
Of course,
so
you're a step ahead.
martial arts. Yeah, they're like we're coming, we're catching up, but it's blowing up.
Big way actually.
Yeah.
Big way actually. I mean, your name is like a fire on a flag, having it spreading out here in Kuwait and also on the area itself. So unfortunately, our episode has come to an end. This interview has been, let's say, at the last minute. One last word from you guys to our viewers, like let's say one motivational word. First one, starting with Abdullah.
Just start. Come
Just
to
start.
class. Start jiu-jitsu. Start whatever is in your mind. Just start.
So what about you, Nasser?
Yeah, just be positive with yourself. You know, it's like don't think it's like it's the end. Like just if you like don't have a happy, like just come and train and just be happy. Yeah.
Don't say I'm too old.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. You and your son, huh?
Oh,
Still
okay.
waiting. You join them.
Well, it's gonna happen. Inshallah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So with that, thank you for being here with us. We're actually so glad to have you here with us at our show and sharing your aspiring journey. I mean, it's got to be, let's say, changing a lot of people's mind. Starting from me, I'm not gonna lie, it's got to be really amazing to be coaches and starting from, let's say, starting from zero, starting from trainees to champions and now coaches. That's got to be really amazing.
Yeah, we're really big thanks for having you with us today in around Kuwait, Abdullah Salim and Nasser Abdul Hakim. We really enjoyed, and I wish everyone would join any kind of sports, whatever they love. Yeah.
Exactly. So for your viewers, this episode had come to an end. We will see you for the next time. For more inspiring stories and for even more headlines, you would see our camera all around our beloved country. So stay safe. We'll see you for tomorrow and goodbye for now.